Alright, so I got another good one tonight. So, obviously, I think we're all starting to see that everything we've been taught about the law is completely backwards. And 99% of what we all think we know and what they tell us, it's just all a bunch of BS. So, I'm going to dig a little further into why our constitutionally protected rights are, again, reserved outside of their limited delegated powers. And I'm going to show you exactly why their statutes, they hold no weight over us. Okay, not in our standing as one of the people. This is why they've created this dual system and all this confusion. And we're going to go through and I'm going to destroy their whole system for you. Okay, I'm going to break this down forensically, line by line, showing you the sites and using their own words, the own laws to show you what's going on here. So as we know, constitutional right is a right guaranteed to the citizens, we the people, by the Constitution is so guaranteed as to prevent legislative interference therewith. Okay, that even shows you the case that even proves to you that our constitutional rights, the legislature cannot write anything that conflicts with our inherent God-given rights. So when they're passing any of these statutes, okay, that are conflicted with our inherent rights, they're acting outside of their jurisdiction. They're operating outside of their limited, delegated constitutional authority that they willingly agree to be governed by. And as I've showed you before, everything in the Bill of Rights, all of our rights, okay, you factor in the 9th Amendment in your state's equal provision for the 9th Amendment, our unenumerated rights, all of our rights, every right is reserved outside of our public service, the limited delegated powers. Okay, so our rights can't be regulated, they can't be licensed, and they cannot be conditioned. It is completely removed from their authority entirely. Okay, so now is we're gonna keep going through this. This is why I really want people to understand that, and this is when they do this. Okay, and this is again, I'm telling you that all laws, okay, that the statutes they call laws, any of them that are, read the bottom section here, all laws contrary to this Constitution shall be void. So everything in conflict, it's void from inception, and we owe no duty to follow it. So here we go again with Michigan's Constitution, just to get this hammered in your head. All political power is inherent in the people. Government is only instituted for our equal benefit, security, and protection. And again, we the people, we hold all the power. This is why they don't teach you the state constitution. So remember, as I showed you, anything the legislature does, right, in conflict with our rights, is void. So what is a statute, right? Look at this. An act of the legislature declaring, commanding, or prohibiting something, a particular law enacted and established by the will of the legislature, the legislative department of the government. Okay? So, this is telling you, anything in this legislature, all these statutes, every single one of these statutes, they conflict with your inherent rights. Guess what? Every one of these statutes are void. Now we're really going to get into the real in-depth of what these statutes are really doing and what they're really written for. So we really have to remember, the legislatures, they only possess limited delegated powers, and they can't operate outside those limited delegated powers. Okay? What is granted to them, expressly granted to them, is all they have. They cannot do anything that gives them more power, and they cannot do anything that conflicts with your rights, because we are the creators of our government. Okay? We have to really comprehend these things, because you'll start noticing all the way they write the tax codes, the driver's license stuff, right, for the DMV, all your motor vehicle codes, the family court stuff. Go read these statutes, and you'll start to really see, once you start seeing these words and you understand what they really mean, you'll understand they don't apply to you as one of the people, as a state citizen of your republic. Now, for those that have been watching my videos, I did the videos on the slaughterhouse cases, right? In the courts in the 1870s, they admitted that there was a state citizenship, okay, one of the people, and a United States citizenship, because we obviously know they're not the same. This is where their statutory schemes, their whole statutory system, it attaches to federal citizenship, because that's who they actually control. Okay, they created a status, so That's not the same as we the people in our sovereign capacity. So as you can see here, and you start going through a lot of these codes that apply to the United States, okay? That's telling you here, United States business, United States, and this is the very first term, okay? United States business is a United States citizen. I mean, come on. I mean, how much more clear can it be that they've turned everything into commercialized, all these statutes, all commercialized. That's everything to do with that's because that's the only powers that they have over in the state and federal governments. They can only regulate the commerce inside of the states and everything to do with the trades that go in and out inside of the country. That's what they can deal with, not anything to do with our inherent private lives. Okay, they cannot regulate our private lives and our private rights. And now another C. I mean, they put this right out in the open for everyone to see. We just have to read and comprehend these things, okay? So now the courts even openly admitted that corporations are persons under the 14th Amendment. Okay, that's who the statutes are written for. Corporations, franchises, artificial entities, not the living men and women endowed with unalienable rights from our Creator. You can read here, corporations are persons, as that word is used in the first clause of the 14th Amendment. And it even gives you the cases to show you that they're blatantly telling you that they've created it's a federal debt slave is what they've done with the United States citizen. They didn't get rid of slavery. They used it to enslave the American people. So now that you've seen that definition and you know that they created it under the 14th Amendment, let's go back to the United States business. And this is just one of the many codes all throughout the United States codes that this all applies. And it's littered all throughout here, and you can see this. So now that you know the 14th Amendment, it's a legal entity, right? Okay, it's a creation of the government. And again, look at they're using you as a business, as commercial. That's why they're licensing you and turning all your rights into privileges, taxing your living time when you go trade your living time for work. When I showed you a liberty, one of your liberties, your rights, secured rights is locomotion, being able to move from point A to point B on our roads. That's why they're trying to tell you got to have a license on all of our roads. Trying to tell you that they can control your children. Okay, all of these things are all reserved outside of their authority, but they've been using, just like Judge Green said, we're all peons in the cogwheels of the system. They're literally using all of us as debt slaves, and we can easily defeat all of this, okay? But you have to comprehend your standing as one of the people and that you have unalienable rights from our Creator and that our public servants, okay, their job is to protect our inherent rights, and we have to start holding them to it. We have to start asserting our authority as the people and controlling our public servants. Again, this is why they do not teach you the state constitutions, because again, here we go, Michigan Constitution, the preamble. We, the people of the state of Michigan, grateful to Almighty God for the blessings of freedom and earnestly desiring to secure these blessings undiminished to ourselves and our posterity do ordain and establish this Constitution. And our public servants, when they agree to be governed by the state and federal constitutions, they are agreeing and willingly putting themselves in those positions, okay? They're accepting to be governed this way. They're accepting the job to protect our rights, okay? It's our job to hold them accountable. And then, as I've covered in my other videos, we also have the law maxims. These are universally accepted. When you can tie all the maxims together, you can shut them down in a heartbeat, right? We even have, here's a few of them that I've covered in my other videos, right? An unconstitutional law is void. What is contrary to liberty is not precedent, because they can't do anything that violates our liberty. And natural rights exist by virtue of existence, because our rights come from our Creator. So maxims control all the statutes. Anything in conflict, it is void, okay, 110%. So when any of these judges, the cops, agencies, they try to say, well, the statute says this. Okay, I don't give a crap what their statute says. You tell them your statute operates outside delegated authority, limited delegated authority. My rights are accepted out of your power. That act is void ab initio. That's not rebellion, okay? That's not being a sovereign citizen. That's constitutional obedience and doing our job as the people to exercise our rights and put our public servants in check. Okay, this is why they fear the educated people. This is why they don't teach you the real laws, right? And this is why they want to continue to keep people stuck in the public indoctrination systems to keep them as debt slaves. But we're waking up, right? And like I've said in my other video, we're waking up and we're coming for every last one of these tyrants that don't wake up and stop violating their oaths and violating the American people. because the more we educate ourselves, their whole system collapses under their own fraud.